So, if you're like me and you've watched John Carpenter's The Thing 1,000 times, and you want something similar, but a little bit different just to kind of, change it up a bit, this might be the movie for you. Hey guys, welcome to Happywax TV. Okay, so just hang on, hold your horses here before you fucking rip me up in the comments saying, what are you talking about comparable to The Thing? No movie compares to The Thing. I know no movie compares to John Carpenter's The Thing. It's a fucking classic. I get it. What I was saying is that if you've watched that movie like 1,000 times like I have, and we all know the prequel to The Thing is a pile of shit, and you can only watch The Thing from Another World so many times as well. If you're looking for a movie that was, it's apparently obvious this movie was made from the pages of John Carpenter's The Thing, and I'll get into that. But it was just, kind of cool to see a movie along that style, but not copy it completely. And it's much lower budgeted. I know if you listen to John Carpenter's commentary on The Thing, he always goes on about how much money they didn't have. But they were filming some scenes on the lot of Universal. You know what I mean? And they had I can't remember how many millions of dollars worth of budget. So his low budget movies are a little bit different than an independent lower budget. I can't even see this. I think this movie was made for like between $60,000 and $80,000. So, but I thought it was fantastic. I didn't even say what it's called. Black Mountainside. And I'm right off the hop, I'm going to highly recommend this movie. It's more of a character piece though. Obviously they don't have the budget to, show transformations of the creature and stuff like that when the people do get infected. And again, I'm making this sound like a complete ripoff of The Thing, but it's not. It's kind of like The Thing meets Cabin Fever meets like the Wendigo, okay? And you kind of mash them all together. But right off the hop, you're thinking The Thing because it's set in the North Arctic and it's this archaeological dig with all these archaeologists, right? And they find this structure. It turns out to be this pyramid sort of structure. It's unfortunate though because, one thing that really was lacking in this movie, and again, it's budget restraints because they didn't have a ton of cash. I really wanted to see more of this structure and so we could learn more about it, but there's only one or two scenes where they kind of talk about it and they just stand over, they've just in the early stages of uncovering it. So we don't actually get to see the full extent or how big this thing is or even inside of it, which is a shame. But again, if you don't have the money, you don't have the money. But I'll tell you though, the director does a great job of turning this into a character piece because he knows he doesn't have the money. Now I will give him props because there are some gory scenes in this movie. We get arms cut off and shotgun blast to the head and stuff like that, and it's all practical. There's only a little bit of CGI in this movie, and it's not to the very, very end, but I don't want to tell you what happens there. And then the other thing that was a little bit of a disappointment, but I can't harp on it too much because there's so much good about this movie, but it's so where we go with this is not, it's kind of a creature feature, but the creature is only in there, or this god, I guess, is only in this movie always from a distance or in dark corners, you can barely see it. And again, that's because of budget restraints. It's not like The Thing where everything's in your face, the dog changing scene or, with the defibrillators when the guy he gets his arms cut off. There's nothing like that in this movie. But there are some good gory scenes for the money they had, but it's the acting in this movie and it's a character piece because what he's trying to show is when the shit goes down, when this creature or god starts to infect these guys and they start to change, it's like they catch it before the guys change, but it's he goes more on the Cabin Fever style where the guys go crazy first and they don't change into these creatures so much as they go insane, and then they start cutting off their own limbs and shooting other people and all that sort of stuff. And I like that. It was something different. It still had the Thing tone to it, obviously. The isolation was there, but this is a character piece, and it's how these guys deal with it and how they really all slowly start to go insane. when these microbes infest their body. And it's funny, the one doctor there, when he does an autopsy on one of the characters when they die, he said that their cells are slowly turning into what he called like an octopus. So for lack of a better word, because he's being honest, he said, I've never seen anything like this before, but that's kind of what it's changing into. So, and how many theories have we heard that octopus are aliens, or some sort of an alien creature? So, you know what I mean? It's kind of cool how he ties all this, you know, stuff together, all these theories and stuff. I don't know. I did like this movie. Now, some people will watch it and probably not like it, saying, "Oh, this is a shitty thing ripoff." And again, I mean, it's ultra low budget. I think it was made between only $60,000 and $80,000, which isn't a ton of cash. But I mean, this thing has won a ton of awards at film festivals. Most notably, it's won a couple awards for cinematography. I'll tell you one thing: if you watch this movie, if you don't like it, I'm sure you will. But if you don't, you have to appreciate the director's. Like the cinematography in this movie is fantastic. Every single shot outside is like a wide angle shot. It's crazy. I would love to have known like the lenses he used to make this movie. So like the inside shots it's cool too, because he shows this isolation and it wears on you the same as it does these guys. So by the end of this movie, you're kind of like almost feeling like they are, because all the indoor shots are tightly shot to show the isolation and how small these cabins are. But then when they go outside, it shows how vast and how big an area they're in, but they're literally in the middle of nowhere. Every shot shows that. They can't run down to the police station or to a hospital. They're literally plunked in the middle of fucking nowhere. And it's like, I think they said it's like a day or two in any direction to get to the next base. So, but that's where this dig is, because that's where this thing is. It's in the middle of fucking nowhere, just like the thing, right? When they find the UFO. So, I mean, there's many, many similarities, but they do change it up enough, you know what I mean? Just to kind of keep it a little fresh. But again, this is low budget, super low budget. But and I've said this 1,000 times, you can have low budget, you can have mega budget, doesn't matter. As long as you have a relatively good story. And for the most part, too, the acting, I think the guys, especially not really recognizing any of them, I thought they did a fantastic job. There's a few, moments of some poor acting. But again, that comes with that comes with any movie. I mean, you can have a big budget or a low budget movie. But for the most part, the acting really does carry this movie. The conversations, they're for the most part, they go places. They're supposed to be in there, and they help move the story along. The first act of this movie is a little bit slow. But again, he's trying to build up how isolated they are and also give, some background on these characters, which I appreciate. So it's not until the second act, about halfway through, where the action picks up. But once it does, I mean, I was more than satisfied with this movie, especially being a low budget. Yes, there are some silly moments, but I mean, every movie has some silly moments in it. But no, I don't know. For the most part, I like this movie. So I'm going to stop there. It is called Black Mountainside. You can find it actually on Tubi TV. That's where I found it. And give it a watch and let me know what you think of it, guys. For a rating, I'm not sure if I gave a rating yet. I would give this one a really strong 6 out of 10. I really did enjoy this movie, and I am recommending it if you're looking for something, if you're in that mood for The Thing, but you've seen it 100 times like me and you want something similar but different. You don't need to watch the prequel. We all know that movie's a pile of shit. Just give this movie a watch. Trust me, this movie is way better than the Thing prequel, okay? So trust me on that one. If you're going to choose between those two, pick this one 100% of the time, because that fucking sequel was garbage, or prequel, or whatever the fuck it was supposed to be. So anyways, Black Mountainside, check it out. If you have seen this movie, let me know what you think. If you haven't, it's on Tubi TV. Jump over and give it a watch, and then come back and give me your thoughts on it, guys. So anyways, until next time, stay scared.